A few weeks ago, I held a competition and it was for a chance for you to win your own drawing. I try to hold one of these every few months just because I find they're really good for engagement, and being an artist, obviously I do want to grow, so getting them out there is really good for me, but it's also really good for you because you get to have a free drawing. So it's a win-win for both of us. And this time round, Sean won the competition. In this video, I've done it slightly differently because there's parts in the last video that I liked, but it still seemed a bit disconnected, I felt. So I've bought a new mic, so I'm able to record in real time when I'm doing the drawing. So you get a much more in-depth, step-by-step with how I'm working. I feel it's a much better format of showing you how I work because it gives you my complete thought process from start to finish. And that's about it. I don't know what else to say, so I'm just going to use this as a segue to go into the drawing. So I want to find these first initial big shapes. So I'm using these reference points to help me find where they are. So this is going to be about there. Not worrying too much about how messy this is going to be. I think my main reference point is going to be this area here, which is the side of the face, and this line here is where the mouth will be. And then we've got the hand that comes across just there. So I need to make sure that the shape of this hand is correct before I start working on the face, because this mouth I've placed here in reference to this hand. So if this hand is off and then I start making my way up, that whole portrait will then be off. So I need to make sure I get this part of the hand right first before I then move on to doing anything else. The face is looking a little bit too wide at the moment. I think it only looks wide at the moment because I haven't got those darker tones in on the sides there. I reckon as soon as I put those in, it'll pull it in just a little bit. My first initial marks were all wrong. This shouldn't be here, this shouldn't be here, those bits shouldn't have been there. The face was okay, kind of got away with this a little bit, maybe not yet, still unsure how that's going to turn out. It's a bit it's a bit touch and go at the moment, but I reckon if I keep chipping away at it, it will slowly form how I want it to be. Everything's pretty much exactly where I want it to be. I think I still need to be very careful with these eyes in here, just because you've got two angles where they are. So you've got the angle where they come down like this, and then the angle where it comes down like this. And you've got a shadow casting over half of the face, and some of that shadow comes down into this eye as well. I reckon I'm going to do that too light, or I'm going to do the eye too dark, and it's going to throw off the shadow across it. It looks pretty correct now because the actual eye is still quite light, which means the shadow across it is still quite light. Okay, so I reckon that's what I need to be conscious of. I think this dress is too wide. It was throwing me, is it? I think it's too wide. I think it's too wide. It's throwing off, it's just making, it's making her look kind of fat. And in the reference, she's not. So I think I need to pull it in on this side here, because if we follow the side of the face down, the side of the face, it sticks out, it's further than the headdress, but it doesn't come out that much. So I think I just need to pull this in. And I think what hopefully that will do, it will also show me other areas that are off, and then that will lead me up somewhere else. I have to be so delicate with the nose because you've got a shadow coming up and then over. I always struggle with the bottom area of the nose. If it doesn't look particularly nice at the moment, all I want to get is where the features are. I can make them look nice at a later time during the drawing. I feel like I can relax a little bit now, just because the face, especially a baby's face, it's so soft and so subtle. It's always very difficult trying to get the likeness of a baby, but I think for now it's at a good stage where I can leave it and I can move on to other areas. And once I do that, again, I'm going to keep repeating myself here. As soon as I start doing other areas, hopefully it will indicate what else I then need to do within the face, because everything is relative to everything. I was just about to start with the darker tones around everywhere, but I just realized that I want to pay more attention around the headdress here. I think, I'm not entirely sure yet, I think I want to make this area quite refined and quite detailed. I'm not sure yet. If it does lead me to make it quite refined, then I'll just follow that. I'm just gonna work on it and see what happens. Okay, I'm already a lot more happy with how that top section is now looking, and I think just by doing that, like, I've not done a lot to it. I've just moved a few things and given it a bit more depth, but I feel it's given the face just a little bit more shape. It might just be this area here and in there that's done it. Either way, it's helped the drawing. So now that's there, I am going to start with working in the darker areas of the background in here, there and everywhere. And what that will do is it will immediately give it more contrast, and then I'll need to go back into the mid-tones and everything and just darken them down and refine it just a little bit more. Right, I've come to a decision that this part, the headdress, is an important part of the drawing. For the reasons being, it is a dark tone. You've got blacks and dark tones in there, so I'm going to have that because the rest of it is quite light, and I need that to help with the contrast of the drawing. Plus, it's very close to the most important part of the drawing, which is the portrait. I think what I need to do now is I need to now start putting those black and dark tones into the eyes, nose and mouth. I've been putting it off because the eyes are super difficult in this one. So I'm going to take my time. Okay, that seems okay for now. It's not too defined, but all I'm worrying about at the moment are just those black shapes and those dark shapes up in the eye. Again, I just want to try and keep it so the shapes are going down. Try not to worry about all the curves and everything within the eye. I think for now I'm just going to kind of leave it like that, and then I'm just going to work around the rest of the face and put those darker tones in as well, just so it catches up with the eyes. And then later on, I think I'll go back in again and start working on those details. So it's okay for now. It's okay for now. I think by doing the nose, I have a feeling that this eye is in the wrong place. The shape of this nose is slightly off, and I know as soon as I get this highlight in here, it's going to show me that this area is too big, which means this area of the eye is too far over and I'm going to have to move it inwards. I don't need to worry about the details, but I think I need to go back to just focusing on the values, get those highlights, get those shadows in, not care if I mess it up because it will be fixable. I need to stop being shy. I just need to be confident with it. I just need to stop being so delicate with it. Okay, that's good. I'm happy. Let's move on. Let's move on from this bit now. Let's start adding the real black tones and then see what happens to the face. Okay, so right now I'm just kind of going through the motions. I'm a lot more relaxed now. I can just kind of take it easy. The stressful and difficult part is over for now. I'm just darkening certain areas, refining it all over again, and putting extra details in as well. Obviously I still want it to look nice, but I don't have to be so painstakingly careful with it. Because it is a dress, I'm allowed to have a bit more freedom with it, and now get to explore more of that suggestive style within the drawing. We've got some darker areas in there. So again, I'll probably do the same. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. Lots of big white open areas coming down and through. Put that on this side. And when doing that, I'm going to pull some more sharps. I can't say that word. I think I'm going to pull some more sharp shapes coming down this way on the headdress. Giving this a nice sharp edge, it will kind of draw the focus into it more as well, because at the moment the eyes are quite sharp. So I think if I have this soft focus, I don't think it will really work. I think what's falling behind now is this dress area here. I think as soon as I sharpen and define all these little crinkles and edges in here, it's going to make such a difference, because we have these smaller darker edges up everywhere else. As soon as I start putting them down in here as well, it'll kind of give it a more full feeling to the drawing. I've blended this through just a little bit, and it's kind of led me around here into the highlights. And again, I kind of want to go down in the same direction. Everything's kind of falling down on this side because the shadow's falling down. So I want to do the same with the highlights. I want to pull it down in this direction. Even if I have to do small little like etches with the rubber, I still want to try and pull it down in this direction. It'll give it more of a round feel to it. I can't quite work out what needs to be done. There's some darker tones in here that aren't sitting right. Well, I haven't got them in yet, but I know if I put them in a certain way, it's not gonna look right. I'm not entirely sure why. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna properly mark in where the nostrils are, and I'm hoping that will then tell me what is wrong with this area here. Okay, I think I'm finally at a stage where I'm actually happy with the face. I think there are still a few tweaks that I want to do, but again, I'm pretty happy with it, surprisingly. I thought it was going to be a lot more painful trying to get this area correct, but it's pretty spot on at the moment, so I'm quite happy with that. I think now again it's just moving away from it, trying not to get sucked down that rabbit hole again, and start working on the surrounding areas. I think now everything where I've kind of blended it all together, it's got too much of a soft focus around the edges. I've done it before on a few of my other drawings where I've pulled out a couple of darker shapes from the edge, and it really just brings it all together. I'm going to test it out with areas that I definitely know I want to do it in, such as here and here, and just kind of assess how that looks and then just see where it takes me. I'm not sure if I'll do loads. I'm just going to test it, see how it looks, and kind of go from there. I'm liking that there's other shapes now starting to form, and by even just this bit here, it's kind of led me on now what I can do with this part of the dress, where it's a bit like, I guess frilly is the word, kind of puffs and swoops around. So this is definitely part of the drawing where I don't want to concentrate on it being so realistic anymore, and I just want to put basic, crisp, sharp marks and give it a bit more of a dynamic look where I can just kind of suggest where things are now. I think I'm now getting to a stage where it's coming to a finish. There's a few bits I still want to do. I'm still just trying to work out what that is. At the moment, I'm debating what I'm going to do in this bottom section here. Because again, I don't want to make it too tight, but at the same time, I don't want it to look too messy. And I think at the moment, it looks more messy than suggestive. So I think I need to sort this area out just a little bit. In fact, that's exactly what I'm going to do, because I've just seen we've got shapes coming down this way, and I'm going to make them come down this way. I think it'll be a nice rule of thirds. 1, 2, 3. I think that's what I'm going to do. Okay, I'm very close to finishing this drawing now. I think I just want to add a few touches. I think I just want to sharpen a couple of edges again, maybe around this center point here. I think maybe if I give it a bit more of a sharp edge in these areas, it will just bring it in just a little bit more. I'm sure I'm gonna, I know what's gonna happen. As soon as I refine this just a little bit more, it's going to tell me I then need to add a few bits here and there around the face, and that's where I kind of want to pull myself back, because I'm pretty happy with the face. I don't really want to do too much to it, but I know as soon as I do bits in here, it's going to tell me to do a few other bits around the face. Okay, let's see what happens. I'm just going to sharpen up these bits in here and then see what happens. These eyes, ever so slightly, I just want to bring out some of the highlights. You can just see just a little bit on this side. I just want to give it a bit more of a shine. Just trying to be careful here, because again, I don't want to do too much here. I'll end up ruining what I've already done. That's not quite right, and I'm unsure. See, I've gone down that rabbit hole just a little bit now, and I've kind of put myself in a position, and I can't decide if that was the right or wrong thing to do at the moment. It's these eyelashes in the middle that are super difficult to do. Blend this out ever so slightly. Just blend that through the tiniest bit. Okay, now we're done. We're officially done. I'm not doing any more. I'm not going to do any more. I think I've just pulled that around, so I'm going to leave it before I do anything that I regret. Even though this bit here did cause me some issues, now that I've pulled it round a bit, I'm much happier with it, and I think it just brings a bit more life into the eyes. They have a bit more character to them. It's been about 4 months since I've done a drawing like this as I've been away, so I was kind of skeptical about how it was going to turn out. I think with my next drawing, I am going to approach it slightly differently, just because I felt the beginning stages, weren't as good as they could have been. Not so much the drawing, but more how I approached the drawing, more the initial construct of where everything's going to go. It didn't really do anything to the end result of the drawing, but it did just make it that much more difficult to get to that end result. But overall, I'm very happy with the drawing. It has that realistic look with that suggestive style, which is what I was going for. And if you have any questions at all about how I did this drawing, please let me know in the comments down below, and I will try my best to include them in the next drawing that I do. I appreciate you watching the video, and I'll see you soon.